Friday safety focus of the week. Today's Friday, February 2nd. Tom, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so this week's code item of the week is maintain respectful behavior whenever one is working, driving company vehicle, or wearing the company logo. You are always representing this company. Ben, do you have anything to hit on that?
Yeah, I'm glad we brought this one up again. I think this one's really important to how others see us out there as a professional company of people that are respectful to others. So this is one that we always think about. And this is one that comes back to us the most. Yeah.
Got a hot mic out there. Check yourself, somebody. Some safety news, Tom.
Yep, we have 34 days without a recordable and 16 days without a first aid injury. Let's keep this going through the next week and month and however long we can keep it going for. So
take it day by day, right?
Exactly. Today we're going to talk about equipment attachment safety, so predominantly buckets, but obviously anything that goes on in a piece of equipment also falls under this category. So we had a recent near miss at an ECI job site. The crew was excavating with a JD John Deere 60 excavator, and that utilized a wedge style bucket retention system. The retaining bolt on the wedge became loose and fell out. The operator didn't notice it had fallen out. The bucket fell off, and it fortunately caused no injuries or property damage. Anytime that something like that happens, obviously we need to take it and look at it from a lens of what if had something happen and how can we try to prevent this in the future. We did have past unsafe condition, and there was while they were using the two-way radios in the cab of the 380 excavator. Whenever they'd hit the push-to-talk button, it would trigger the warning unlock light for the coupler of the bucket, and obviously that's an issue. Fortunately, if you don't mind clicking again, but fortunately the crew or the operators noticed this, and they were able to deal with it before it became more of a hazard. And being heads up whenever dealing with equipment's obviously huge and preventing injuries and incidents. So we've had a lot of close calls and near misses over the years, and this is from every kind of retention system that you might find on excavator, whether it's the old Wainwrights, whether it's the wedge systems, whether it's the new fancy quick connects and stuff like that. We've had loader buckets and forks fall off. We've had close calls with loader buckets being loose in the yard and stuff like that. Like I said, a variety of different kinds. And one thing too is with the loaders, it'll show that it's locked in place, even though, and it won't be beeping at you and flashing the light, even though it's not actually on there. Because once those pins come all the way out to retain, it sees itself as being fully attached, even though it might not be. So just make sure to keep everything clean. I think that's in a later slide though. And years ago, we had a bucket that landed on a employee. It was a backhoe bucket and caused serious injuries down in Burlington. That was probably 15 or so years ago. As best math that we could do over here. Ben might have something to add to that.
Yeah, it was scary. It was one of our most experienced operators running the machine too.
So in order to prevent this, make sure you check all your retaining pins and bolts prior to operation and be comfortable with whatever system that you're using. So if you're not used to using some new attachment system that John Deere is using or Cat's using or whoever's using, make sure that you get comfortable with it, know all the parts and retaining pins that need to be in place before you operate it and that they're in place. You want, whenever you're greasing at the end of the day, you want to check every component in detail, just to make sure that everything's in good working condition, all your hoses are good, everything's torqued well, once again. And you want to just test that the attachment's firmly attached through a full range of motion prior to use. And I didn't add it, but the just make sure that be watching. And if you're a laborer and you see any sort of pins fall off the machine, If you're an operator, be mindful to watch for anything that might fall from the machine, because if one pin falls out, that could be enough to have a bucket come off. And like I said before, automatic retention systems may not indicate an issue if the system is closed but not seated appropriately. So just make sure to keep all those free of mud and debris and other stuff like that, and contact the shop if you suspect an issue with your system.
Okay, that's all we have for that. Anyone want to jump in, Ken, Ben?
Oh, good.
Yep, I'm just reminded of that guy who was killed up in, what was it?
Swanton.
Field, Swanton, whatever, with the heavy impactor that fell on him.
Yeah.
It
Ryan
was,
Charbonneau.
Charbonneau. Okay, right. Yeah. Yep.
And if anybody knows more on that, feel free to share. We tried to do some research on it, but there wasn't much in the news about what actually occurred.
I got a pretty good source of what did happen. So if you ever want to talk about it, happy to do so.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Cody.
Okay, I'll take over the screen. Let's see. News. Okay, let's see if I'm on the right one here. You see my screen out there?
Yeah, we have Ken.
Okay, we'll do the quick announcements and then we'll get to, actually got a couple announcements, then we'll get to Emily. So if you don't mind standing by, Emily. Okay, we got an announcement from last week, and this serves just as a reminder. If you signed up for the Morgan Stanley Financial Advisors, that'll be today, half-hour meeting. So if you're signed up, make sure you remember that it's to attend. I don't know if there's any openings available, so if you're looking for some, check with Melanie. And there's some updating of beneficiary forms going on here, and you're going to be receiving information in the next week by regular mail, I assume, on when you last completed it and all your information, whether it's complete or not. And the mailing will include forms for both life and 401k. So make sure you check those carefully. We'll also be including an emergency contact form to create a new company-wide list that can be available to managers in the event of emergency. As always, feel free to give Melanie or Gina a call if you have any questions there. And W-2s, again, were mailed out a couple weeks ago, so if you haven't seen them, check with either Melanie or Veronica. And I'll let Ben Heath chime in on this interesting and pretty cool little announcement and article. Ben, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here, Ken.
Okay.
Well, I guess this company ECI was recognized on a national level by what is considered the most respected construction and engineering publication in North America. If you're a contractor or an engineer and you read magazines, this Engineering News Record is it. You know, we have a community who was facing a real disaster with real consequences, and they needed a solution immediately, and they needed executed immediately, and they had a lot of choices of who they could call, and they called Engineers Construction, and our team made a lot of sacrifices. We got aligned internally to abandon some other projects, and then got those project stakeholders to be aligned with helping the city and leaving their projects. In a short amount of time, we moved a lot of equipment. We got manpower and materials to the site. We had materials being procured from all over North America, and we developed a solution that worked as a team. We executed those solutions for both the bypass project and the in-river project quickly, and it was such a monumental effort by this company and by this team that we're being recognized nationally for it. And to me, that's evidence that this company and this group of people, when people need help, when there's a problem out there, they call us. And I think that we should all be very proud of that. And we proved that, they were right. And it was a good decision to call ECI, because we went out there and helped them really quickly. So I hope everybody walks away from this feeling proud about it, and recognizing this as a group effort and as a recognition for our entire team.
And you become the newsmaker, one of the 25 top newsmakers for 2023. That's pretty cool for sure. All right, thanks, Ben. We'll be hearing maybe more. There might be an award ceremony, that sort of thing happening in the next month or so. So here we are to the employee giving. Oh, is there someone else who wants to make say something else about okay. So the 2023 employee giving, as we have talked about a few multiple times, that we're really excited that ECI gave out a total of $30,000 to 4 different charities, with most of that given by the employees. This is an employee focus for the most part, and the company kind of rounds it up to a nice number to split evenly. And this week we have Make-A-Wish, Emily Malley from Make-A-Wish. And Emily, let's see, I assume you're showing up on the screen here. I got to get to my right screen. Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's been actually really interesting to sit here and watch what you guys do, and congratulations on this honor. It's, it's a big deal for us to be able to work with, great businesses in Vermont. And we pride ourselves in trying to keep everything we do as local as possible. And so it's really great when we have partners like you guys helping to fund the wishes that are happening right here in Vermont. You guys have donated a lot of money to Make-A-Wish in particular. You reached 30,000 this year for your campaign, but you guys have almost you've almost donated $40,000 to Make-A-Wish Vermont, and that's a huge deal. We say that wishes cost on average $10,000 in Vermont, so it's a lot of wishes. So thank you for doing that, and we could not do this without your support, and we think of that every time we're able to grant a wish. And I know you've supported us beyond just your giving. You've helped us with projects, and you've brought our wishing space at the Vermont Teddy Bear Factory to life. So thank you for everything, your minds, your bodies, your giving. It all means a lot to us. I did want to share a video if you guys were okay with it. We like to start a lot of our meetings with a mission moment, and I just thought this might give you some perspective on what you're doing and how important your giving is each year. All right, I'm just gonna share this.
Cross our fingers. I'm never successful at this.
It's a hit or miss for me. We'll see how this goes. I'll try.
Just make sure when you hit share, include computer sound. You gotta hit that toggle. Yep.
All right, we'll try this. I just need to make my screen a little bigger. Are you seeing an older gentleman on my screen?
We do. Yep.
Okay, so I'll just give you a little perspective before I start. This is Tommy Austin, and he is one of the founders of Make-A-Wish America, and he came to visit us in Vermont because he loves our chapter so much, and he spoke a little bit about that.
I was just amazed when we pull up in front of this building, how warm and inviting it is. Make-A-Wish is an agency of hope, and we take the family as a unit out of an impossible situation. And you would just be surprised at how the effect of a wish has on the entire family. Each wish has got to be special. It's got to be special. It's got to turn something on in these children that they're going to fight, give them a reason to live. It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's about those children. I think Jamie in her little book summed it all up. Wishes are medicine.
You can help us grant wishes. Donate now at vermont.wish.org.
I was just
Oops, sorry. You don't need to see it again. Sorry about that.
Very nice.
So there are glimpses of your work in there, our silo and everything. You guys have helped make that as beautiful as it is. But everything is wonderful in our office. But it's a space. It's not just to be pretty. It's a space where we can provide our wish kids with an escape from their doctor's visits and some really, dark and scary times. So your work there is something that impacts every single wish kid in our program and will continue to do so for a long time, and that work has inspired other work. So now we're creating wishing spaces in other states, and people are taking the model that we've created here in Vermont and continuing to spread that. So I hope you feel really proud of what you've done for us, and we think about you every time we look at our silo and whenever we're in our building. So thank you, and we really appreciate it. And I just think it's incredible that this fundraiser has just started from the employees. I think you guys have created a culture of giving, and that's so cool. So thank you for that. And I'm here for questions too, so if you have any questions about what we're up to, or any questions about Make-A-Wish in general, feel free to chime in.
So I don't know if you were gonna say this, Ken, but there's a bonus gift for Make-A-Wish in 2024, which is the proceeds from all of our t-shirts, sweatshirts, and ECI logoed attire that we sell to the employees. We donate the proceeds of that to Make-A-Wish this year for every month excepting October, which is breast cancer awareness, which is going to go to the UVM Medical Center, Cancer Association. So last year in 2023, we raised an additional, I think it was 11,000. Ken's got it in his email there, like 11,000 some odd dollars. So it's a potential for another $10,000. So I thought, buy a lot of sweatshirts and t-shirts this year, because it would be really cool if we could get that $10,000 bonus, because that sounds like that could be another wish.
It would be. That would be
So let's do it.
incredible. Yeah.
And everyone who wants to go could go to when we come over there, go over to your facility, proudly wear their t-shirts to help present the funds.
That would be so cool. We yeah, and you're welcome in our building anytime. So we're at the Vermont Teddy Bear Factory, and we're mostly there Monday through Friday. But if you're ever there with your families, or you want to come buy some teddy bears and hang out with us, never hesitate to stop by. Our door's open.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Definitely have to follow up on that one.
Yeah, do it.
Go down and get a story, Ken. They'll read a story to you, and you can hang out on the beanbag.
Yeah. It's a very cushy place to work, I will say.
Well, Emily, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And as part of our normal routine here in our meeting, we go on to the project of the week. And you're welcome to stick around and listen.
Oh, thank you so much. I hear some crying babies downstairs, so I have to actually go run to them and save my husband.
Bring them to the meeting.
Oh my gosh, they would be quite a distraction, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. But it was so nice to meet all of you, and nice to see Matt. I've known Matt for a long time, so I'll let you guys get to it. But thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you, Emily.
Good day, Emily.
Thanks, Em.
Okay, I'll take over the screen again, or Ben Heath or Tom, both of you going to kind of tag team on this. Ben, you want to take the screen? Or Tom?
Yeah, I think Ben's going to take the lead, the first part of the story, Ken, and he can run
got
this.
it. Everybody can see this?
We got
Yes,
it, man.
Okay, today we're going to discuss the force main and leach field installation that occurred in Richmond in support of the Summit Distribution Mobile Station. I think you all probably know the mobile gas station that's right near the interstate entrance and exit there in Richmond on Route 2.
Where it was, you mean?
It was, yeah.
It was.
It's still going to be there. It's just going to be bigger and nicer now. ECI was hired by Summit Distributing to provide the reconstructed mobile station on Vermont Route 2 in Richmond with a new sewer system. The existing site is located within a floodplain, which does not support on-site septic systems, and there is no municipal sewer near this property. In 2 separate contracts, ECI was hired to use horizontal directional drilling to install a new force main across Interstate 89 and to install a large on-site leach field system on a neighboring property adjacent to a Green Mountain Power substation. ECI successfully installed the 3-inch sewer force main via directional bore across the interstate, and from there, ECI open cut another 600 linear feet of force main to reach the new leach field location. The leach field was designed with 9 trenches as a typical in-ground system. In other words, it was not a mound. The soils there were fantastic. They were beautiful, dry sands. Each trench line was designed at a different elevation due to uneven terrain. To achieve equal lateral pressure in the system, each lateral leg had its own valve and valve adjustment. All laterals were adjusted properly to achieve equal distribution throughout the entire system. In the springtime, ECI will remobilize to clean up topsoil and hydroseed. So this is, the building leach fields are not typically all that complicated, but this one in particular had some challenges to it that we wanted to present to everybody. For site access, we only had a 20-foot easement to access the leach field that went 600 feet into, a piece of raw land, and it was all woods. And winter conditions made the access easement wet and muddy, even though it was a sandy site, and material could really only be transported with a track truck. So you have to imagine we have this narrow, space to work in, and we have materials to get in and out of the site, and having a narrow spot like that was challenging. ECI installed the leach field prior to a pump station being installed. So as you know, if you've driven by here, the Richmond Mobile station has been demolished and is currently under construction, and so they haven't even installed the pump station yet. Typically, you install the pump station at the same time as the leach field so that you can do normal pressure testing and pressure distribution testing of those lines. So we were unable to do a conventional squirt test on the leach field as there was no pump to energize the system. And the engineer directed ECI to develop a way to prove that the system achieved equal distribution. To test the system, we installed a 3-inch T and a ball valve within the system to receive a 3-inch water pump. And then we used our water truck and installed a 3-inch pump to energize the system and prove that the system achieved equal distribution. Another contractor is installing the proposed pump station at a later date and as part of a separate project. And then another little detail, which I think would be good for other folks if they ever build one of these to watch out for, is that our leach field stone came from Heinsberg Sand and Gravel, and the engineer wanted or directed us to use 1 inch or 1.5 inch clean washed stone. Heinsberg Sand and Gravel conveyed to us that they could give us 60 yards of washed 1-inch stone. And after a few truckloads arrived to the site, we noticed the stone that we were receiving had a lot of fines in it and essentially wasn't good enough for the engineer, and for good reason. We were receiving washed stone, but it was from the bottom of their pile. The stone wasn't clean enough for us to use. We attempted to recover from that by bringing the water truck over and dousing the pile with water, but it was just cold enough out that that really wasn't working, wasn't successful. So at that point, we decided to purchase different clean stone, and we were able to complete the work. So when we're calling our suppliers and asking for clean stone, it might be worth asking them if they're at the bottom of their pile or not to, avoid the headaches that we saw. I think at this point, Tom, do you want to take it over from here?
Sure. You want to run the screen if you could, Ben? That'd be great.
Be happy to. Yep.
Yep. For starters, the comments that you made early on the teamwork on the Burlington project, very, very nice. But I think your leadership was tremendous. So don't tip your hat to yourself as well. So good work there.
Thank you,
Tom. Anyway, as mentioned, this is a project we did for Summit Distribution. The drilling crew went in prior to the work that Ben just described. You can scroll down if you want, Ben. So our work, generally, we were set up on the mobile side where the station is here, where my cursor is, if you can see that. Initially, the receiving pit was to be tight to this dropping topography here. We set back to try to achieve proper coverage there. We had plenty of coverage under the highway, and then, of course, advanced to this location here. The scope of the work, by design, was a 3-inch, 1,100-foot sewer force main with a 6-inch sleeve in the V-Trans corridor in the right of way under the highway. That would have required an additional access to set up. So we switched that plan and installed a 6-inch sleeve the entire way. And after the 6-inch sleeve was installed, we had our 3-inch HDPE on site and had spacers there, put our drill steel down through the 6-inch and then pulled a 3-inch in. So the project went really well. We started in mid-November. Tom, the owner of Summit, was a little concerned that we would meet the deadline of the permit, which was December 1st, and we did indeed accomplish that. We anticipated soil ground conditions, sandy soil ground conditions, and that's actually what we encountered. So the project went smooth. The team did a good job out there, and it was really it was a nice project for ECI. So if you want to scroll down, this is, we didn't necessarily follow this profile. We ended up going a little bit deeper at the beginning and then got back up to where we needed to. This is the 100 drill set up on the mobile side. It's our point of entry. And we had a little, they drew this plan to have proper coverage under the highway, but obviously we didn't have all these zigs and zags. We had a straighter line with a bend radius in it. This again is from the mobile. You're looking at the highway there. Keep going there. And this is on the entry side, or the exit side, excuse me. And as you mentioned, there's a tight easement there too. We had to be right within their easement that they acquired from Green Mountain Power. So this is the bit getting ready to pull off. It's a little confusing with our 618 machine. And then this is where the excavation and the civil crew took over, but we did extend our bore, not by bore, but by open excavation with an HDPE pipe at the request of the engineering firm. Ben, this probably gets back to your work if you want to pick this up.
Here's the guys installing the different parts and pieces needed to perform the testing, which was unanticipated by us, but we came up with a clever way to test this system in an unconventional way. And I've done a lot of leach field inspections and seen a lot of squirt tests and that, but I've never seen anybody have to do this. And I thought it was a really clever way of solving that problem, which for me was a first.
Yeah,
so
we did. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the guys in the field came up with this, and I was very impressed with this approach.
The drilled line also was tested with a low pressure air test.
So here's the leach field trenches. These are all at a different elevation, which made it a little more challenging than your average leach field. And this is a big system. These are long trenches. There's a lot of them. Here's some more a photo of some of the piping and valves at the manifold. This is a photo of the stone installation and then the leach field piping being installed on top. Obviously, we did this in the winter, which created challenges. You see all the blankets in the background, and keeping this stone clean and dry and frost-free was important. Here's an image of the track truck. This was a crucial piece of equipment for this project, considering the access constraints. And after it's all said and done, all that beautiful work just looks like a flat piece of ground when we're done. And Ken, I'll turn it over to you for the photo archive.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll say I looked pretty hard for the substation photos from the original substation work, which was like 2005 or 6. I found some, but there was like just looked like your last picture, nothing in it, and just a cut off field. So unfortunately, I had to find something else, and I went to the Richmond Elementary School slope stabilization work. There was a slope failure, big ravine that just opened up after a storm. Actually, I think it got rebuilt twice. We rebuilt it to the design. They had an engineer, they designed it, and we put it in like they expected. And these highly erodible soils, because they are pretty erodible out there, just tore out again later after this installation. But you can see we were doing another one of these narrow jobs with a special track truck with these balloon wheels this time that we rented. So that was back in like 2016 or so. That's what I got. We'll turn it back over to Matt. Thank you guys for the presentation.
Yeah, well said, Ken. If you're watching a group setting, please send over attendance. It'll be much appreciated. We can capture that. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, take care.